it's Guido coming at you with another replay analysis, this time for Sir Dark Light, who is anonymous. He is anonymous. No one knows he's coming. He's very sneaky. Ninja. He's in his T-29, Tier 7 U.S. heavy tank. Very good Tier 7 heavy tank. This is, in fact, even though he is middle tier, a really nice setup for him because he's got a lot of Tier 6s to bully. The T-29 can handle Tier 8s just fine. It's one tier down, right? So it's not going to dominate necessarily, but there's nothing here that's really going to scare the T-29 and say, my goodness, I'm going to have a hard time with that. So we are here on a Kharkov, spawned into the south, moving towards the north into the town, and his team looks like it's deploying okay. Got some lights and mediums going over the field. He's got some heavies moving into the town. He's going to go to a pretty well-known hold down spot. This is interesting. Panther 2 crosses, takes a shot, backs out, and then Sir Darklight's going to cross right here. This can be dangerous. I do try to get to the corner where that T-29 down there is so I can maybe pop people with some free damage doing this. He's going to get away with it as he crosses here. And that works out nicely. So he's got a Panther 2. He's got an IS-6. Some guys are going down to the corner. I like that his team is watching this corner over here in the southeast, all the way on the east side of the map, but not really committing hard down there to try to come around, because I just find I've had several videos lately where people get bogged down over there and it's hard to get out of. I think Sir Darklight, Sir Darklight's, I should edit that, but I'm not going to. Sir Darklight's positioning is pretty good right here, and it allows him to move around a bit within the town and react either over to the east if he needs to, or potentially get out and get shots into the field if he needs to, and primarily to try to push through this middle, or at least defeat any of their tanks who try to get in here. So right away he's got a T-29 hold down, and the T-29s are now playing the pop the zit game, right? That little hatch on top of the T-29. That is one reason why this position's a little bit touchy. You can see he looked at that window over there, and now he's dueling a KV who misses him. So there's a KV-2 there, a little pop, trying to pop the zit. That window where the Panther is nearby can shoot him. But he's got a KV-2, he's got a T-29, and every time he shoots and reloads, the KV-2 is going to have an opportunity to get set up. Nice job finding this guy. He kind of takes a shot and backs out. And he comes out. I don't know why he would come out again, but he did, and he eats 358. This gun hits hard for a Tier 6. Sorry, 7 heavy tank. Now, you didn't notice it, I didn't talk about it, but there was a Skoda T-25 raging around in the backfield, ended up taking out one of his M44s. Sir Darklight, you might have been able to back up and help him when he was over here. I don't know if you noticed that, but you do have a clear shot into the cap area, and that dude was raging around in this general area. Even if you back up a bit and you're going to be covered up against those guys, there might have been a guy able to get a shot at that window, but I think you missed an opportunity generally right there to take a shot at them. And now we're dueling a KV-2, and we get away with it a couple times here, but I'm going to ask you, really, what was the plan with trying to take on the KV-2? Because we're going to see what happens is he starts shredding some of your hit points. So we look at this guy, okay, there's a bounce, and we shoot. Once you shoot, the KV-2 is smart enough to come out and get set up. He's got a really bad dispersion, but you fired, you're on a reload, he's going to go out, and he's just going to be sitting here staring, waiting for you to do what he expects you to do here. And I don't know what this guy's plan is, but all right. And then we have a KV-2. We're not quite reloaded, and we're moving in, and ow, boom. All right. Okay. So the KV-2 got one on us. He did 125. Maybe not time to abandon this position, but we'll see what's going on here. We'll take a shot right into the mantlet of the T-29. That's not really going to do much, is it? We get a little bounce. You can see that the corner over there on the east side is holding for the moment. The lights and mediums are doing okay in the city. It's 3-2. And then we walk out into another KV-2 shot. All right. So if you're going to duel a KV-2 like that right here, if you're hard pressed or hard, whatever the word I'm trying to look for, you are intending to push out and duel a KV-2, do a little poking back and see if you can get him to miss that shot. That would be fantastic. All right, little poking back, see if you can get him to miss. But you sort of walk out into it, and now we're going to line up here, get ready for a shot, and we're going to let the KV-2 do the same thing. We'll come out looking for the T-29. He takes a shot, and now we're going to hang out here for a bit. T-29 is looking to make you shoot. One of the reasons he's doing this probably is if he can get you to shoot just like that, then the KV2 is able to come out and get set up on you again. All right. You know the old "fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me." We're about to get fooled. What, the third time? Boom. What's the plan, man? What is the plan? This is probably not the place to be. I don't think I'd be hanging out here. Once they both shot, I might have moved forward up into here. See if I could maybe work a different angle, come around the corner, see if I can maybe get shots on something out here. You can see that the T2065's moved up, the Type 64. There's some options there. You do have to be careful, though, because they can get, if they're up on this part of the hill, and get shots down into you. But this is the problem, one of the problems with this spot when you get hold-down fighting tanks like these. You and the other T-29 can't do a whole bunch to each other, but this stupid KV-2 doesn't care about your turret armor. And I would imagine that last shot went into the hatch. Yeah, look at that. That's why you lost your loader and took so much damage. Thumped you right in the top, right there. So we're going to hang out here again. Oh, T-29's moving. All right, so that is even better SA. It is time to do something different. I like that. Once I crossed here, though, I would have kept my turret right at this, because I would expect potentially, my luck, the KV-2 comes on the corner as soon as I'm full broadside. At least get your turret towards him so you can get a snap, and maybe if he hits you in the turret, you'll take less damage. But do not give him a side profile shot like that he doesn't deserve. So we come over here. All right, be very careful sitting right there. Your butt end is sticking out a little bit. There you go. Move on in. Do a nice job with this guy, kind of paying attention, and boom, down goes the T60 or the Type 64. So nicely done right there. All right, decision time. What do we do? The T-29 seem to be making a circuit around to that middle road. Every time I go down that road over there, I die. It's just a bad idea. And the IS-6 is pushed into the KV-2. So decision time is, all right, where do I now take my power and leverage this bit of an advantage we've created here? The IS-6 is up in the KV-2's face. For my money, I go help the IS-6 get rid of the KV-2. But let's see how this plays out. Because IS-6 puts a thump on him. You kind of look at it and go, okay, can I do something? You come around here, you take a look. And then we notice that the T-29 has moved up in the road. We're initially going to push. Looks like the IS-6 has him handled. Then we see him. Then we realize there's no shots. And then we spin back around. And for some reason we have HE loaded. And I don't know where you did that actually. That might have been while you were taking on the T-29 trying to get some HE damage. But it probably would have been nice to switch over to the AP while we're coming in here on this T-29. Because we're going to come in here and get a whole 100-something damage off of this guy. Boom. The KV-2 is dead. That's good, so keep that information in your hip pocket. The IS-6 is moving in. The Type runs in to try to go after the Arty. Nice job with the Ram. I thought that was probably not a bad idea right there. Get rid of the guy a few potatoes earlier, and then he's not shooting your buddies over there. And then we move into the field. All right, decision time number 2. So I think I would have gone with the I-6, but to be honest, your hesitation allowed you to help take care of the T-29. You probably could have got to the T-29 coming around anyway, except that there's an AC-48 back there, so it worked out best for you, I think, at this point. From here now, I think I would definitely get in there and start supporting the I-6. I want to stay in the buildings. There is an argument to be made to go back to the corner. If you look in the east, the Rev down there, the enemy Revelor is winning, all right? Or at least he's neutralized those guys. That's a problem. I don't like leaving people behind me because I have to clean them up later, and I don't know where they went. All right, then get into the backfield, then cause all kinds of problems with crossfires when I get lit somewhere else by one of these other 3 or 4 that are alive. So there's a argument to be made to go get that guy as well, or to support the IS-6. What happens, though, is, to be quite honest, a little bit inexplicable to me. We come around here, and then we see the WZ, and we know there's a 4202 way over on the west side. The last thing I want to do is be out in the open with a 4202 with only 500 something hit points and a relatively soft T-29, but that appears to be the exact decision that is made right here. Instead of pushing in and supporting the IS-6, or maybe going back and helping those guys take out the Rev. I have no idea how all 3 of those guys lose to the Rev, but they do. that one makes no sense to me. And then we are going to crawl up this hill, and we're wandering. And I'm going to tell you what it looks like to me, and you'll have to let us know down in the comments about what your mindset was and what you were thinking about. What it looks like to me is it's a bit of a case of I see the nearest red guy I see, or the red guy that was in my field of view. I'm moving towards him. This part of the map is almost wholly useless. There is zero reason. I'm going to go on about this a little bit. There is zero reason to be in this part of the map right now. It's a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day decision right here, right? Alexander's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That is what this is. So we take a hit from the FV who sees us and we don't see him. And then we've just set ourselves up into so much crossfire. We're out in the open for artillery. Hopefully I've made my point here. It's just not a great spot. We do square up the armor. I thought that was a good idea. Keep a little angle, and he's just staring at us, and we get some bounces. Thank goodness he's not damaging us. Now that he's lit, our mediums get in there, but he has eyes only for you. We're gonna hammer him, and for the kill. No, he didn't have. He had too many hit points, but he lights on fire. He lits on fire, and he dies. All right, this looks like we're in really good shape, right? Well, hold the phone, because not for long. The IS-6 is alone. The Firefly VC is alone, and the rest you're out in the open here, and the rest of everyone's over on the west side. So the IS-6 just keeps on chugging, even though he's facing an AC-48 and an artillery. There's the AC-48, who is, to be honest, on bad hit points. Nope, that guy's behind a building. Keep going. Oh, geez. The Rev. So the Rev has taken all those guys down. He has 2 kills over there. He's munched all their mediums, and you can bet that he's on his way to come help his 2 tanks, just like you are, but he's a little bit faster than you are. There goes the IS-6. The M44 actually derps the guy. He arties him, but at this point, really a derp because he seems to be running around aggressively. You've got 4 kills, 1,270 damage, 2,070 assists, and I think between the two of you, had you gone over there, you wrecked those guys pretty bad. I don't think the 4202 was going to be a problem. Your mediums probably could have handled them anyway. Out there, at the very least, he would have been tied down because they were taking him on. And we find the Rev. He gets a shot on us, and thank goodness he did not pen, because that was you dead right there. And then this guy, I think I would have just gone at him, maybe wiggled a little bit, just try to spoil his shot somehow. There's an argument right there to be made to use the medical kit, and we find this guy, and thank God he's AFK. So if I kind of come in there and I notice he's not really paying attention or he's not shooting, I think I go for his weak spot up here. This hatch, he just shot right into the top of the tank, but we get away with it. Down goes the M44, and we get our 6th kills. We drive around the AFK. There we go, right into that little hatch thing at the top. That's a nice weak spot, by the way. It's a turret or something on the top of the back of the AC-48 version of that tank. And we end up with 6 kills, 1,503 damage, 2,460 bounced, 210 assists. So good game, and you sent this in to me to say, all right, what could I have done better right there? I think the initial positioning was good. I think you stayed there too long. I wouldn't have dueled a KV-2 because that was not really a great plan. I would have looked for a way to get out of there. Potential lost shot on the guy that got into your backfield, as I mentioned earlier. Once you started moving up, a little bit of hesitation which way you were going. I would have gone with the IS-6, but it turns out your hesitation helped you a bit because the T-29 was coming. You reacted nicely to that, came back around, obviously shot an HE round into him. You probably wish you would have put an AP into him. Based on his hit points at the end when you rammed him, you would have killed him with that last shot, as opposed to having to take the ram on him. And then driving out into the field was a no-go. Don't do that. Think about your approach at all times. This is the time when, as an average player, you are starting to think about your approach. You're starting to think about mid to late game. How do I maximize my movement and my decision making mid to late game, because I can turn these kind of games into a win that are close. Even though this one didn't sort of look close, it got close towards the end a little bit more than you probably wanted. Although you had the STA-1 and the Panther charging hard in, and more than likely they'd have cleaned up most of what was left by the time you got in there. But just imagine, if you will, the STA-1 and Panther aren't there, and it's just you trying to take these guys on. Might have been you wouldn't have been so aggressive in here if you knew you didn't have the STA-1 and the Panther with so many hit points backing you up. So, when you start to speculate, there's a lot of rabbit holes that you go down there. But the point being here is that mid to late game decision making, when we get back to the field thing, that was just a no-go. Don't do that. Approach the buildings, approach where you are minimizing crossfires. think about as you move where they could be. Obviously, look at their lights, the last known positions on the map, and kind of think about where they may be moving to, and be careful about how you approach that as you're coming in, and you can avoid things like just driving out into fields. All right, that's all I've got, man. You all have a good Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support of the channel. If you're looking for other ways to do so, you can find those down in the description. That's all I've got. We will see you.